Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
We are here, the Lord, we are here, and we're ready to podcast.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love introducing you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and ooh, I find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. It's Gray Haas.
Roll the rock away, Hallie, because Christ came to slay. How are you?
Oh, so blessed. I am very high on Christ today. I am
too.
excited. You too?
I mean, there is just, everything is a buzz around here right now, isn't it?
All of campus is just a buzz. It's electric with the excitement about sin.
I know people are probably like, what?
sounds
Sin? Why?
weird.
I know. Why are we getting excited about sin? And well, do you want to tell them why, Hallie?
Well, normally, of course, we would be filled with nothing but shame about sin. But the reason we're a little bit abuzz about the sin stuff is because we've got SinCon coming up, the first
SinCon.
ever annual SinCon at Twin Hills.
People from all over are going to be coming in to learn more about why sin is necessary. And not only that, all the types of sin that exist in the world. And so I know that it seems like we're celebrating sin, but we sort of are, aren't we, Hallie? Because without sin, what's the point?
Well, yeah. I mean, what did Jesus die for? And, you know, there are different people out there pushing different narratives of the gospel, wanting to make them sound like better news, good news indeed, by saying that they're pushing a spirituality of love rather than of hell and of punishment and stuff like that, reclaiming like a beautiful spirituality that doesn't involve original sin and having to tell people that they're bad and shameful and, you know, worthy of eternal torment in a very real place called hell that is, you know, where they won't be in the presence of God. They won't be celebrating by walking on streets of gold and having rubies in their crown and singing all day and having a perfect body that never has IBS or anything like that.
And I think this is amazing that our lead pastor can confront the present moment with programming that is just so locked in. He took the idea of a con, you know, everybody goes to Comic-Con and all these things, or Furry-Con or whatever. I'm not sure what that one was, but you know, there are a lot of cons. And Steve said, you know, what we're going to do is first we're going to figure out every single sin that's listed in the New Testament. And he just made a big master list.
Yep.
And then we get in the main auditorium and every single one of those has a booth and, you know, small groups signed up for which ones that they wanted to be a part of.
Yep.
And so I'm just looking at some of the ones that they're previewing. I guess there is over 124 sins that were listed in the New Testament. I know.
I think a lot of times people think, well, there's 7 sins.
Oh,
or
no,
so.
there's way more than that.
Nope.
And, you know, we've just alphabetically, I'm looking, you know, there's abuses of self-sin, adultery, anger, backbiters, banqueting. That's an interesting one.
Drinking parties.
Yeah. Bitterness, blasphemy, boasting. And you know, some of them that you just don't think about that. Clamor is a sin. Loud, continued noises. I cannot wait to have some of my teens go to that one.
Burying our talents is a sin. Calling one brother a fool is a sin.
Yeah, defiling the body. And I'm actually going to be signing up for that one just to kind of show what it's like when you don't defile your body.
Yep. Craftiness, cunningness. Oh, sorry, you're in the D's. Debate, deceit, defiling the body, defraud, denying Christ, desiring the praise of men, despiteful, dishonest. I mean, you can go all the way down.
Effeminate is a sin. Emulations, I guess that's like just what? Ambition. Envy, of course. And then there's some really fun evil ones. Evil concupiscence.
Oh my.
That's the longing or desire of forbidden things. Then evil eye, having selfish motive. Evil thoughts, extortion. It's just so great.
Going all the way down to number 69 is jesting. Talking talking to make others laugh is a sin. Judging is a sin, of course.
Yep.
Lasciviousness, laying up treasures on earth, living in pleasure, lovers of self. I mean, this one is the sermon of the day from liberals is to love yourself.
I know.
And right here, it says in the New
That's a
Testament,
sin.
that's a sin. Loving any person more than Jesus is a sin. Lusting after a woman is a sin. And
Yeah.
lying, maliciousness,
That's just kind of weird.
Get all-
Murmuring is a sin? Murmuring is a sin?
Murmuring is a sin.
Okay,
I mean,
well.
Yep. You can get all the way
Seems
down
kinda
to,
weird.
obviously,
Really, murmuring.
unthankfulness is a sin. Unmerciful is
Purloining
a sin.
is a sin? Mm-hmm. Whatever. And I think that has something to do with the loins and maybe where you're hiding them.
Wantonness is a sin. Whispering is a sin. Whoremongering is a sin. Witchcraft, wickedness without normal affection is a sin. Just being hard-hearted is a sin. Without understanding is a sin. It's a
And
sin to be unwise.
Women prophesying is a sin.
Women cutting their hair is women cutting their hair.
Oh, I
is
don't
a
think
sin.
we'll do that one at least.
Oh, whoa.
Maybe Steve will have a fun twist on
I'm
that one.
sure he's got I bet if you put it in context and you extrapolate it and you exegesis it, and if you do all that stuff, it will make sense. Because, I mean, I like to keep an asymmetrical cut, and I know you keep your ends kind of chunky, and you kind of have like you're not a woman, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'll get to the bottom of it. But any hoodles, I just think it's so cool that there are 124 explicit sins. We're talking New Testament, baby. We're not talking Leviticus stuff
Nope.
where it seems very tribal and it's hard to fit into modern day, postmodern, relevant pop culture. But hey, I mean, this is NT, baby, and it is real, and sin is real, and sin is punishable by death. Them's the facts, kiddos.
So if you want to celebrate some sin, please come check out SinCon. I'm sure we're going to have an entertaining time.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere in between, the whoremonger booth and one of the earlier ones, like
The
brawling.
wrath booth, I'm sure is going to be filled with a bunch of screaming ladies,
That's
trying
right.
to get out their, frustrations and whatnot. But I think it's going to be cool. And check out the Twin Hills website. Everything on there is SinCon themed, related right now. We've got costume suggestions if you feel like dressing up. Maybe you're somebody who would put on a Star Trek thing at Comic-Con. Well, put on something demonic and come on down to SinCon, I think we might have demons walking around so that people can understand these invisible, insidious creatures can be twirling their disgusting talons in your brain and making you think lustful thoughts and whispering awful things in your ears,
Oh, and I mean, it was sometimes I think some of the costumes are going to be fun because it's just going to be, people dressed up like influences or something, just so you know, like it can come in any form.
That's right.
That's just I don't really get that murmuring one.
Just like the Holy Spirit handles our hearts, our guest today handles our animals here on campus. It's animal handler extraordinaire, Miss Bernadette Beavers. Welcome to the program. How you feeling today, Bernadette?
Oh, my Lord, I'm thrilled to be here.
Wonderful.
Bernadette, you are, if there's somebody that is going to bring a lot of excitement around this campus when you show up for a program, it is you. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Absolutely. I bring the noise, I bring the funk, and I bring poopy bags because I've got a lot of animals in the trough.
That is right. We do want to get into that, but really the reason that you're here today is because we've got an amazing program that Steve is cooking up for this weekend, and you've got a few different animals there, don't you, that you're going to be bringing on stage. What have you got in store for us?
Yeah, I've got some flyers that I'll be giving you guys with all the animal paw prints on it, which is kind of a fun touch, and a little bit of the dung. We've got boar, we've got buck, we've got tortoises, we've got turtles, we've got hamsters, gerbils, and Germans. German gerbils.
Okay, amazing. And I just cannot imagine, and of course, we're not going to spoil it, but whatever Steve is going to be preaching about, I love that
It's going to be good.
all the others are included.
Oh, yeah. Well, we pick a psalm and then an accompanying animal, which is a fun kind of thing that Steve thought we should try.
Oh, is he doing the psalm wheel where you spin the wheel?
Spin that psalm.
I love it when he does that.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to have a buck on stage. I mean, we better make sure there are no hunters in our congregation.
Oh, God, I hope not.
How many points does the buck have? Is it a 10-pointed, what is that with their antlers called?
Well, this one's an 11-point buck,
Oh, okay, uneven.
and their antlers are called their steeds.
Cool.
And don't Google that. I know it is what it's called, so don't look it up.
You're the expert.
Well, I did want to ask you, how did you get so interested and become an animal handling expert? Because you have, as you said, this list of mostly B-name animals this week. Maybe that's just a coincidence, but you have your whole shed over there by the pole barn that you do keep some animals in. But then, of course, you're bringing in animals when we need certain animals for programs. What was your interest? Are you a biologist or something?
Well, I grew up right near the zoo. I grew up on the cul-de-sac between Old Cricket's lamp store and the pantry. I'm sure you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
Right by the Indianapolis Zoo,
Yeah.
or Indianapolis Petting Zoo, I guess is what that is.
Indianapolis Petting Zoo, which is no longer their song.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Rest in peace. So I grew up there, and that's actually a pretty upsetting story. I had a brother and sister growing up, and I woke up one morning. I was in the bottom bunk. My brother and sister slept in the top bunk,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and they were nowhere to be found.
Oh, I thought that was the upsetting story. Oh, I thought being on the bottom bunk was the...
Not that we were poor. I'm actually fine with that.
Oh, okay.
But seems like you have some judgments about that.
I just thought, actually, I thought the bottom bunk was the sad part of the story.
Any other questions about my sleeping arrangements?
No, I'm sorry.
So I was in the bottom bunk.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm really thrown now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sad. I'm sorry again. Okay, go on.
So I was in the bottom bunk, and on the top bunk was my brother and sister, or so I thought. I wake up, I look up top on the top bunk. Brother and sister nowhere to be found. In their place, 2 peacocks. That was the last time I ever saw my brother and sister. And now you can say you're sorry.
Oh, that's
You know what? I
traumatizing.
should have said it then. Yeah.
It's so strange that you were so effusive about the sorry before for how I sleep. And I'll have you know, I also still sleep in a bunk bed as an adult woman, and I'm actually very proud of it.
I love a bunk
I'm
bed.
sorry.
You can say sorry for my loss.
Okay, yes, and I am sorry
Yes.
for that. And are you married?
I am happily not
Okay.
Okay.
So the bunk bed.
yet. I'm engaged.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Me and Peter Pankles of Pankles Family Figure Skaters.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yes.
Peter Pinkles and Bernadette Beavers gonna tie the knot. That's exciting.
Well, a Beavers Pinkles partnership is going to be a powerful one here in Indianapolis.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, what
Yes.
a power couple.
And yeah, I am sorry about your loss, and I am still sorry about the bunk bed.
Well, peacocks seem to me to be a sign of wealth. You know, when people have peacocks strolling around the grounds, they usually have a castle, you know?
I mean, yes, opulence, of course, regality.
What age do peacocks live to? I mean, do they get quite old?
You know, it really depends on the peacock. You know, if you're looking at a tortoise or a turtle, sometimes you're looking at 200, 300 years old, but the peacock is more like the parrot, so maybe more like 80 to 112 kind of thing.
Wow, that's old. That's cool.
So these peacocks, I'm about anywhere between 50 and 70.
Really, Hallie, isn't this quite an amazing and common theme, I would say, when someone goes through a tragedy like you did, like, you know, sleeping on the bottom bunk, having you, I forgot what happened to your siblings, but when you go through something like that and then you end up just committing your life to something that matters and committing your life to something, you know, like obviously the church and obviously bringing these exotic, amazing animals that did cause you a lot of pain. Now you're bringing them and you're showing us look, they're not as dangerous as you really think they are.
No, absolutely. I think it's important work that I do. And before we keep going, I want to know what is an ideal sleeping configuration for you, because it's something that you're not letting go of.
I'm sorry, it's just kind of stuck in my head. In Australia, we don't have bunk beds.
I'm sorry.
In Australia, we don't have bunk beds. We actually...
Oh, sorry. I meant I'm sorry, period.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to go, I'm sorry.
Okay. So are you saying I'm sorry that we don't, or I'm sorry that you didn't understand?
Well, I'm sorry that you misunderstood that I said, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry now, I guess, about the bunk. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I stopped then.
It is sad that you didn't grow up with bunk beds, because I think bunk beds are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's really nothing sad about it, Hallie, because what we have are side-by-side beds that are suspended, but they're side-by-side, so they're sort of hanging. Everything in Australia is essentially opposite of what it is here.
So you hang like a little koala bear?
Yeah, it's very similar, yeah. And actually, instead of a top bunk and a bottom bunk, we have a bottom bunk and then a lower bunk. So one actually goes usually into the subflooring or the sub-basement.
But so even though it's above, it's not technically a top.
Exactly.
And funny thing, speaking of, I like to top, but that's for another time.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that
good.
means.
Well, quick question, Bernadette, because I'm going to be there this weekend, and I get a little unsure around wild or exotic animals, and I'm wondering, are boars violent?
Oh, it really depends on the boar. Boar are actually quite bright, and that's why it's very sad when people eat pork, or people eat pigs, because pigs are actually quite smart. Now, this boar's a big old dumbass. But I still don't want you to eat her. But this boar, don't even worry about her. She's quite nice and she's quite dumb.
Okay, and then I also wanted to ask about the tortoises.
Sorry, it's tortoise.
I can imagine that would be maybe representing the verse, be still and know that I'm God, because they're such slow creatures, aren't they?
They are very slow and tactile. You know what they always say, the tortoise wins the race.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
The tortoise and the hare were walking down the street. The tortoise had a bunk bed, but the hare had one bed and then a bed underneath it.
Yeah, I'm also one of my favorite psalms. And what's with the German hamster?
Yeah.
The German hamster, that's a very interesting story. That was an accident. I was abroad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying you were a lady.
and that's something that upset you, that you thought that you felt sorry for me, that I'm no longer abroad. I'm an older broad.
Right.
I was abroad in a plane.
Yes. Okay. I mean, abroad in a plane back when travel used to be good, airplanes used to be filled with broads.
Yeah.
I was abroad. And I was in Frankfurt. And I was packing up my things to head home. And I grabbed a souvenir. Little did I know, I thought I'd grabbed a candle. Unpacking my things, it was a hamster. So it's a German hamster, German gerbil. And now he's part of the tribe.
Oh, I love that story. And so have you traveled and collected animals from all over the world, or most of them come to you in ways like this?
Well, legally, I don't want to speak on whether I've collected animals internationally. And if I have, it's been by accident and never on purpose.
I see. Because we do have a few animals there that people have said, I think blank and, XYZ is extinct. And I would say, actually, no, I've seen that exact animal on stage at church one weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have several endangered pythons. We've got a boa named Bo. And I happened upon them by they showed up on my yard. And I did them a favor because they said, I want a career. They showed up, they said, we're bankrupt. We need jobs. And I said, let me see what I could do. So that was completely of their own free will. And they found me.
Oh, I love that. And I mean, you hear this a lot with people who work with animals. How do they communicate? Because I guess when I think of animals, I'm thinking dumb. You know what I mean? Animal, dumb, human, smart.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you view it that way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sometimes I think the humans are quite dumb.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm sorry.
But with the snake, it's more of a and with the dog, it's more of a bow wow, wow wow. Of course, with a cat, it's and a shark is more quiet, sort of nothing.
Yeah, I guess, it doesn't...
Silent killer.
Actually, that's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah.
Any more questions there?
Well, I've heard that felines are actually, even house cats, are considered some of the most dangerous predators on planet Earth.
Well, they don't call him Mr. Mischief for nothing. My cat has killed, and he'll kill again.
Who calls him Mr. Mischief? You or?
The county jail.
Oh, okay.
On account of that man he killed.
Wow. And, speaking of snakes, I feel like, snakes kind of get a bad rap, especially around Christians and churches and such, because that first snake lied to Eve when he was talking to her in the garden. I mean, do you have a good experience with snakes, or do you find them to be deceptive and full of, really trying to cause you to stumble?
I think with snakes, it all depends. You don't want to be in a bad rap with a snake around you where it squeezes the breath and blood out of you. And I've seen that happen 4 or 5 times. And it's not only snakes that'll do that. I've seen Mr. Mischief squeeze a man to death.
Oh,
really?
No.
Well, I did want to ask about, speaking of killing, I thought one of the most effective animals that you ever brought on stage was when Steve was, preaching famously from 2 Kings. And it's a banger of a Bible story because, it's about 42 children who made fun of a prophet, Elisha, and then 2 female bears essentially mauled those children. And, you can look it up if you don't know the story. And how you did that without actually mauling the children, but really showing in that program, a bunch of actors got very scared. I would say a bunch of child actors got very scared, didn't they?
I mean, we've got a she-bear, and she's extraordinary. And she studied Stanislavski, she studied Meisner, she went to Tisch.
Really?
When I got my hands on her, I said, hey, I'm not going to put you in a union here, but what I can offer you are the roles of a lifetime. And when that role came across her desk, she said, please sign me up as the she-bear. And she'll push it to the limit. I think she spooked a lot of kids, but I think sometimes in religion, isn't that the goal? Spook them enough that they'll do right.
Sometimes I wish I could bring a bear into, climax, because when my teens aren't listening, sometimes you want a bear to run in and say, guys, listen up. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I just am so thrilled that you get to work with kids, because speaking of bears, I am barren.
Is that right? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, my bank account thanks me.
Well, being barren isn't so bad. I see why you say it's also fortunate that you're not, because if you were to push a baby out of your own body, it just shreds you downstairs, as if a she-bear had gotten a hold of your genitals.
What?
I mean, it's really quite violent to give birth. So you did your body a favor.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. Sounds like you've got some...
No, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
You know what? For the first time today, I think we can all say we're sorry. And it can be warranted.
Yeah. And we mean that. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask about your well-trained she-bear. I mean, I was wondering if she had any problem depicting a bear who kills so many children in this Bible story, because I don't know if she would worry that would give bears a bad name, specifically she-bears.
For her, I think she said it all depends on the role. She's not afraid to get lost in it so long as it's something she can really sink her teeth into. Not literally. She's a vegan bear. She would never. She's vegan. She's keto and vegan, which I found that's hard to be both.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where are you getting your protein? She's gaunt. She's never eating protein, and that's really what her body craves.
Yeah, that's a very lean bear, actually, I've noticed. I thought it was a greyhound.
Yes. She is mistaken for a greyhound quite often. But no, she was thrilled to play the role, and it was between that and Euphoria. But she chose the she-bear.
When you say these things like she said, she really likes a role, how is she communicating that level of information to you? What is that like?
And so, as I said, cats are meow, and dogs are wow wow, and with bears it's rawr.
Okay. So yeah, again, I guess I could have guessed that. And I did want to ask, when you have an animal like that is highly trained, there is a lot of uncertainty, right? And I've noticed that sometimes when I don't like to bring this up, other than I'm going to bring it up because I'd like to know what happened. You had a falcon or something that was going around the audience.
Yeah. Sadie.
Yes, when it descended on what I can only describe as a bald man's shiny head, that was maybe it was something about the lights that were attracting it. You, instead of stopping it, sort of went prone yourself, and you were going. And what was that you were doing, where you were sort of lying on your back, going, just looking very prone?
Well, I want to take full accountability for the mishap with Sadie. We had trained Sadie to land on shiny doorknobs, evidently very, very similar to bald men's heads. So we had trained Sadie to land on bald heads. And this had happened about a few dozen times.
Well, speaking of training, I've always wondered, and you're the expert here, so you'll probably know, in that she-bear Bible story from, what is it, First Kings?
Yes. I think it's Second Kings, actually.
Second Kings, where the prophet Elijah, he's so offended and insulted by these 42 kids laughing at his bald head, speaking of bald heads, that he sicks this she-bear on them. Now, I've always wondered, how was Elijah able to control the bear's behavior? I mean, was that an early form of animal training on a sophisticated scale, or how do you think he pulled that one off?
I think some people have the gift and some people don't have the gift. And I ultimately think we all have the gift if we really take the time to connect. Unfortunately, these days we domesticate animals and then there's a power dynamic established, right? It's like, you're my dog, you're on a leash. All of my animals are off leash, living like I do. They're wearing my clothes. We are all on equal footing. We're all waking up. We're going in my dresser. We're putting on panties. We're starting our day. We're pouring our milk. We're learning about each other. We're all speaking the same language. Maybe we're not using the same words, but I understand them and they understand me. And I venture to guess with Elijah understood what the bear was saying.
And so are you in that dynamic, are you saying we're all the same, or are you saying to your animals, you're actually like me or even better than me in that you can essentially take over my home and my clothes, as it were?
We are equal, and I'm a little frightened most of the time.
A very special thank you to Hannah Pilkes. Thank you for joining us. She is so delightful. You can follow her at Hannah Pilkes, and also check out her new Netflix show, Leanne, starring Leanne Morgan, one of my favorite stand-ups.
So funny.
I love her so much.
Can't wait. And if you want to listen to Mega ad-free, get behind-the-scenes stuff, and support the life of this podcast, head on over to mega.supercast.com or click that link in the show notes. It is the best way to support Mega. A very special thanks to our founding members. That's Bobby and Betty, Anonymous, you know who you are, and Nana and T-Pop.
Thank you so much, y'all.